I usually take British Airways for short-haul flights out of London because I can often get a seat in Club Europe using Avios. However, on this flight to Istanbul, I decided to go for Turkish Airlines in business class on their Airbus A321Neo. Join me to see what the experience was like, as well as exactly how much it cost me. Our trip starts at the train station of Gatwick Airport, which is only a short walk away from the airport terminals. Turkish Airlines uses the South Terminal at Gatwick, which means you don't need to ride the shuttle train, so let's go straight to check-in.
Alright, looks like we are in Zone E for check-in.
It was quite busy, with a separate line for business class passengers as well as Star Alliance Gold members. I didn't really need to go to check-in desk as I was traveling with carry-on luggage only, but I wanted to get a printed boarding pass, just because I like them and I wanted one from Turkish Airlines. But they couldn't print one for me because I had already generated the electronic boarding pass in the app. That was a bit of a surprise because I haven't come across a similar restriction on another airline before. But anyway, it's time to head through security.
Security was pretty busy. So I got around an hour, I think, before my flight. So I'm just gonna pop into the lounge quickly and then head to the boarding gate.
At Gatwick, Turkish Airlines gives you access to the #1 lounge. I'm not gonna include it in the video as it was super crowded and I only spent like 5 minutes there. Instead, let's jump straight to boarding. I really love how new and smart this cabin looks, both in business class and economy. And there is some lovely boarding music as well in the background, which really adds to the mood. So we've got 5 rows of business class seats in 2-2 configuration, and for this flight I chose seat 5F. As I settled in, the crew came around with pretty pacha beverages and I opted for strawberry lemonade, which was delicious.
So we should be pushing back shortly. But yeah, very impressed with the cabin. I think for a inter-European business class, this is as good as it gets, especially given that it's the A321Neo, which is a new plane. They have a new cabin, because on the older A320 aircraft it's an older seat, it doesn't have seat back entertainment and so on. Hey, thank you. The flight attendant just came out with the menu, so let's take a look at it.
Feel free to pause the video if you want to study the menu, but I'll show you the actual food once we're in the air and the service starts. The rest of the time before takeoff, I spent enjoying the beautiful views out of my window. It was a rainy morning in London, which made it feel even a bit more special. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up, especially because flight reviews is a new type of content on this channel, and both myself and the YouTube algorithm need a bit more input on whether or not you like it. And just like that, we were in the air. And since there is some time before the meal service, why not take a quick look around the seat? Each seat has a good adjustable headrest, and then there is some sort of a privacy divider between seats, which feels like a bit of a gimmick since it doesn't really add privacy, but it does look aesthetically pleasing, at least to me. There is also a small pillow on each seat. In front, we have the 13-inch entertainment screen. Economy class seats also have an entertainment screen, just a slightly smaller one at 12 inches. By the way, in economy, this plane is also super comfortable and the food isn't really much worse than business class. On the left, we have the center console. Seat controls are also located here, and there is a small storage area that currently houses the headphones and the remote for the entertainment system. The tray table comes out from the right. There is a lever that you need to pull and then it will slide right out. But other than that, it's a pretty standard tray table. And now let's get to the food. The starter was served first and it's essentially some cold cuts. To be clear, the cinnamon bun at the top left is not part of the dish, that's why I'm trying to hide it discreetly. For the main course, I chose the omelette. Overall, the meal was good. I'm generally not a fan of breakfast on the plane, so that's why I wasn't overly excited about it, but again, everything tasted just fine. A bit later, the crew also distributed some snacks. The rest of this 3.5-hour flight I spent getting some work done, so the time went by quickly. The only criticism that I have would be the interactions with the crew. At times, they felt a little bit unnatural. To give you an example, the flight attendant asks you, "What do you want to drink?" and then they leave as soon as you pronounced enough syllables for them to understand or guess what you are gonna order. There's no acknowledgement, there is no nod, they just move on. Maybe it was due to the language barrier, in which case I guess it would be understandable, or maybe it's some kind of time-saving technique, I don't know. But anyway, overall I have quite positive impressions of this flight. And anyway, before I knew it, it was time to land. But do make sure to stay till the end to find out how much I paid for this flight. So finally, let's talk about how much this trip cost me. If we check on Google Flights, the cheapest return flight between London and Istanbul with Turkish Airlines in business class is priced at £650, which is a bit above the price that BA is asking. So this would work out to £325 each way, which in itself seems like a pretty good deal. For my dates, however, the return cash price was closer to £1,000, so instead I bought economy class ticket and used Turkish Airlines miles to upgrade it. That cost me £180 and 15,000 Turkish miles one way. By the way, if you live in the UK and want to learn more about earning points and miles from everyday purchases and using them to upgrade your travel experience, check out other videos on my channel. Or if you want to see another flight review, click on this video on the right. Finally, consider subscribing to the channel for future content. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.